Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie Podcast. Hopefully, you've had a good Thursday. Hopefully, we've got a long weekend with some golf planned. I actually do. I've got a bunch of golf planned, so I'm super excited. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know it's brought to you by Titleist and the brand new Vokey SM10 wedges. The Vokey design team is always grinding and always coming up with ways to make each new release better than the last. With the new SM10 wedges, they have done it again, thanks in no small part to the tremendous input they get from the countless tour pros who play Vokey wedges. Better players make better wedges. The feedback the tour pros give directly leads to improved performance that you'll all experience. If you don't know Aaron Dill, he is out on tour every week. Our boy Greg and Andrew talk with him all the time. He is getting input from tour pros, kind of coming up with some of his own grinds. One of the examples, too, is that the CG placement on the lower lofted SM10s is shifted to help full shots hold their line better. Think fewer pulls, more pins. SM10s produce the piercing, low flight tour pros love from a wedge, but any player can benefit from the added control of lower flight. I know when I did my fitting, I was shocked at how low I was supposed to hit the ball with a ton of spin, so I was actually converted right there out of TPI. But get better wedges and become a better player with Vokey Design SM10 wedges. Go to Vokey.com to sharpen your short game with SM10 and find a fitter near you. So we've got an episode today. It's we've got right before Memorial Day. Hopefully you've got a long weekend planned. Hopefully you got some golf. I will hopefully be playing my 9 holes in my league this evening on Thursday. If you're listening to this on Thursday, my league then, and then Friday I'm playing 18. So I think Saturday or Sunday, one of the two. I think it's Saturday, playing 18. So I've got 36. I've got 45 holes on the docket, which is for me exceptional. So thank you to my wife. She doesn't listen, but thank you to my wife for letting me play. But I'm excited to get out there and play some golf. I've been playing a decent amount. The league's ramped up. I haven't played amazing there. So before we get into today's review, which is going to be the Motocaddy M7, the new one, I've got my hands on it. I've had it for a couple weeks now, so I've got that. But before we get into it, league play, it's been a little rough. I know some what's in the bag. We'll talk about that. But we're going into week 6 this week. And to tell you how, I wouldn't say how bad I've been playing, but how much I've been scrambling. I've yet to win a skin, yet to win the closest to the pin. And usually I'll have one of those by now. But I've just been really I've been struggling to make birdies. I've been making a lot of pars, making a lot of ho-hum, tap-in bogeys. Just haven't been getting birdies or anything like that. And even the birdie putts I've had have been long, so it's just been a little bit. Now I do, you guys know I do switch clubs out literally every single week, so I haven't even played too many of the same clubs in the 6 weeks we've played. But last week was 2 weeks ago, shot 39, played pretty well. Had a double bogey that I knocked one OB, still shot 39, played pretty well there. And then last week, I shot a 40 that probably looked like it was a 50. The way I hit the ball, I could not get an iron anywhere on the green. Just was impossible. I was playing a set of irons that I really like. I was playing the TaylorMade P770s, the black stealths, the ones that are out right now. And I just couldn't hit an iron to save my life to get on the green. Everything was kind of low and off the toe. But I tell you what, that the Mez 1 Max, the Lab Mez 1 Max that I brought with me, that. And then I also I brought the new Enhanced Alignment Pro V1, which has that new line on it. And I made sure, I was like, I'm going to line up almost every putt. If something's crazy long or something like that, I'm not going to do that. It's a 40-footer. I'm not going to line that up. But anything, majority of the putts I'm going to line up. And it took some getting used to. I haven't lined up putts in a long time. Every once in a while nowadays, I'd line up like if it's a straight like 4-footer for par or something like that, I might use a line. But I haven't lined up anything other than that in a long, long time. It's been a while. So it took a little getting used to, and it took me a few holes to get used to actually lining it up where I needed to. I was either really far off, over lining up too far to the right or left, wherever I was aiming, or I was basically always like at the hole or something. It was like I was either pointed dead center at the cup, or I was like way right or way left of where my target wanted to be. So it took me a little time to get used to it, but I do have to say that between the Mez 1 Max and that ball, I made a ton of putts that saved that round. Like I said, I could have easily, I think, shot 44 if I didn't make some of the putts I made. I made everything that was. I don't think I had a 3-putt. I made pretty much every second putt, no matter if it was 5 feet, 2 feet, whatever. I didn't miss them. I didn't miss any of them. So I putted really well. Lag putting was solid. I got everything close to the hole, and the couple that I blew by, I made the comeback. So the putter was working really well. Wedges were kind of off too. I wasn't hitting anything close. It was a little bit struggle there. Driver though was really good. I had the PXG Black Ops, the OG or the original, the standard Black Ops, the more forgiving one, with the brand new the 2024 Ventus Blue. That I hit really well. I hit a drive on 6, just nuked it kind of like through the corner. I had like 40 yards from the front of the green, and I literally put it on the fringe because I just hit it fat. But I hit a great drive there that carried the bunkers that you basically, if you aim it at the green, there's bunkers to carry on the 6th hole. Carried the bunkers, got it down, right in front of the green. And then on 8, I did a terrible swing. I didn't hit it really well. Hit it way off the toe. Ball was just in the rough. It was perfectly fine, and knocked a 4 hybrid right in front of the green. And then same thing, proceeded to hit a wedge that barely made it on. It was on. I think it was on by like 1 inch. I just didn't get the irons and wedges hitting that well, but everything else I hit pretty darn solid. So it wasn't bad. So those are things that worked well, like I said, putter and all that. And then this week we're blowing it all up and going in brand new anyway. So we're gonna go with the. For this week, we're going for what's in the bag. We're gonna go. I was gonna take the new Paradigm AI Smoke Triple Diamond Max, but I'm gonna play that on Saturday or on Friday and Saturday. So I've decided to go something different. I'm gonna play this week. I'm playing the PXG, the Black Ops Tour 1, so the Tour head. That thing is supposed to be one of the lowest spinning heads that PXG's ever made. Supposedly one of the lowest spinning heads on the market. So I'm going to take that thing out, and I've hit it a little bit in the net, and I tell you what, it feels and sounds really good. And from the launch monitor kind of dispersion, it looks like I'm hitting it fairly well. So we'll see how that goes. I've got that with the Project X Denali Blue, the 60 gram 6.5 in there. I like that shaft a lot. I think it's got good control mid-launch, adds a little spin, so that can be a good combo. The fairway wood is going to be a 4 wood. It's going to be the Sub 70, the new Sub 70 Pro. The one with the 2 movable weights on the sole, so I've got that set up with a heavyweight back for a little more forgiveness, but it's a 4 wood. It's got that dual face technology that from hitting, again, same thing, hitting it in the net, I'm off my mat, the ball speed seems to be really, really high on that thing, so I'm going to play that in the 4 wood, and that shafted up with a Project X Hazardous Smoke Red RDX, the 70 gram 6.0. And then for the 7, or then we're moving to 7 wood, and that'll be just going to be a Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Triple Diamond. That with the Fujikura TR Blue 8 stiff. That one there is one that I've really liked. I mean, the ball speed for a 7 wood is like off the charts. And it comes out pretty high. Not as quite as high as the Ping that I have, but it comes out pretty high. And then irons are going to be brand new. So I'm going to put I've just got a set of Adele SMS/SMS Pros. So I'm doing a combo set. So 4 through pitching wedge, the 4, 5, and 6 iron, all Adele SMS. And then the 7 through pitch are going to be SMS Pros. I forgot really how good the SMS looks. The standard one, the top line's a little thick, but overall, like, it doesn't have a ton of offset. Hollow body, fast face, has the same movable weights to kind of dial in the feel. And I've got all the irons except pitching wedge set to draw, pitching wedge is set to neutral. And then, but the original SMS, I kind of forgot. It's been a while since I hit one of those, and just realized, like, those things actually look pretty good. They're a solid iron. So I've got those. I literally just put grips on them, like, because I'm recording this Wednesday night. I put grips on them literally before dinner today. So the grips are on there. They'll be dry by the time you're hearing this. And the 4 iron, I did shaft slightly different. The 4 iron's got one of my Fuji Pro 115 tour specs, stiff. So I went a little lighter there, and then and a little higher launching. And then the iron shafts that are in there, I can't talk about. They're still under embargo, whatever. They are a prototype, so can't talk about those. But I've hit them again on my net, and I've really liked them so far. So got a shaft in there that we'll talk more about later in the year. And then wedges, we're going with the Bettinardi HLX 5.0 Forge. So yeah, the Bettinardi wedges, those things are really good. They've got kind of like a higher toe design. They're a little bigger when you look down at them. They're not as compact as, say, the Vokeys and some others. I was going to reshaft them with the Breakthrough Golf red zones that I got. I had 2 of those in, and then I was going to use an old red zone for the 60. I don't know if I'll have time to do that before golf, so I think they'll just go with the standard S400s that are in there. But I've got the 50 08 C grind, and then the 56 14 RJ grind and the 6010 RJ grind on those. So the RJ grind's got a little bit of toe heel relief, but overall a little wider sole, a little more bounce, and then that C grind is a little flatter. It's still got a decent amount of camber to it, but it's a fairly traditional standard sole. So really good wedges. They're very soft. They tend to create a decent amount of spin, and the looks wise, the 50's chrome, and then the 56 and 60 are kind of that black gunmetal look, and they're really nice. They're very soft. They spin well. And the 60, even though it's like 10 degrees of bounce, I feel like it plays a little less than that. If you have that thing on a tight lie, you could hit it out with no problem. But that thing's been those are good wedges. I had those when they first came out. I think it was last year, and reviewed them, and I hadn't touched them in a while, so I figured why not? It'd be a good time to use them. And then for the putter, we're going to the TaylorMade Spider Tour X Proto, the one with no insert, the all milled face, the one that kind of Scotty messed with before he started using the Spider he's using. But that one there is 33 inches, got an LA Golf P-Series 135 white shaft in it. And I might regrip that as soon as I'm done recording this podcast. I've got a Super Stroke Pistol 1.0 that I kind of want to put on there. It's got a lambkin deep edge cord, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite old grips. But I just get, the right hand just gets a little, it just influences the stroke too much with that grip. For whatever reason, I feel like, especially if it's a putt where I feel like I need to hit it a little harder, like it's an uphill putt, that right hand just kind of gives it a little push, and everything goes left. So I might put the Pistol 1.0 back on there, because I've got an extra one, and I might toss that on. That's what I put on my Bettinardi last year, my Gamer, and it really did help. I putted way more consistent with it. So we'll see. That might be what's going on. And then bag is, of course, going to be my Callaway Fairway Plus, because it just fits awesome on my Motocaddy cart, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But that is what's in the bag for this week. And then golf ball, I'm going to play TP5 picks, and I'm going to play the standard TP5 picks, and I think I'm going to try to use the line again. I know that one doesn't have like a full-blown alignment thing like the Pro V1, but I think there was something to that. I think I putted very well with that. And even if it was, there was one putt where I stood over the ball and I looked at it and I was like, ooh, that's a little more, a little more break than I really want. And even with me, I just kind of like adjusted, and I was like, okay, this is where I want to hit it. And even though it wasn't lined up exactly where I want, like where I was aiming, I could still use it to say, all right, this is where I want to hit it. And yeah, it worked out really well. So I'm going to try to use the line more on everything but, crazy long putts. If it's something where I got to hit it, from the front of the green to the back of the green or whatever, I probably won't. But anything else, I will probably, use the line on there and try to make a few more putts. So hopefully we'll have a better day. I would like to win some skin money, considering I'm the guy who collects for skins and I haven't won any yet. That's always a bummer. Keep handing out the money to everybody else, but. Yeah, excited for tonight. It should be really good weather. They said we're hot right now. Today was like 80 something. Tomorrow should be I think it's like high 70s. So we should have some good weather, and I'm excited to get out and play. And then Friday morning I'm going to play. I'm going to have a whole new bag. I'll have to play on Friday, and then I might have a second bag, or at least a change of some clubs for Saturday round. So we'll see how it goes. I've got a problem, and I love that. I love everything about that. So, but I've definitely got a problem. So, it's fun. So I'm playing the league, St. Clair Shores, and Bella Vista goes on Friday and Saturday. So, we got there's a few things on Friday that I want to go play. I think I'm playing by myself Friday morning. So there's some clubs I want to take out and just hit and all that. And I might hit 2 balls, whatever, but just go out and play. So. It'll be good, but I've got a lot of golf, and thankfully my wife was very accepting of letting me play golf all weekend. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun down there in old Coldwater, teeing it up and hanging out and doing all that. So a good week ahead of me. So that is kind of what's going on in the league. Like I said, some of the other stuff has been pretty good. I do have to say the other clubs that have stood out overall after hitting, and I know I got to do a full review of this one, which I will shortly. I just got to hit its sibling. The Cobra Dark Speed X, I took that out down in Coldwater last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, and hit that thing. And I tell you what, I hit that with the Graphite Design VF, and man, absolute killer. I was hitting that thing so well. That is definitely going to be in the running there for some of the gamer slots, but I was hitting that really, really well. I was really surprised at how well I hit that. That's a really good head. The SM10s have been really solid, but the other wedges, the Ping S159s have been absolute money as well. Those are just really good wedges. They're easy to hit. I've just got the 56 and 60, but I tell you what, every time I've brought those out, I've hit good wedge shots. I've had good short game days. And then honestly, for 3-woods, I do say the QI10 Tour is still surprising. I built up a QI10, a standard one, with a UST Link M40X Blue TSPX, and that thing was really good 2 weeks ago. And I love when you play by yourself. All the you have no pressure, everything goes. But I hit that thing off the deck on 3. I was down in the little valley that you kind of drive it into. I was like 230 something away up the hill. Hit it to basically 10 feet. Just missed the putt. Made birdie. But I mean, I hit the thing dead straight right off the deck. It was really good. So that is definitely one that has surprised me a little bit. Has been better than I expected. So yeah, it's just been some solid clubs. So we're gonna bring a few things down there and see how it goes, and we'll report back with what we find. And I'm probably gonna do a little bit of video down there. We'll see. I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do for what do you call it? Like filming, like while I play. I know everybody wants to say like the vlog type stuff. It's not easy to do when you're by yourself, but I'll see what I can do, and maybe we'll do something either online or whatever. So anyway, got some golf lined up, and today we're going to talk about the Motocaddy, the brand new Motocaddy, the M7 GPS electric cart that I've been using for a few weeks. But before we do, have you heard of this company, OluKai? OluKai. It's 2 Hawaiian words that mean comfort and ocean, and their shoes deliver. They are making golf shoes now that are as comfortable as their legendary sandals. And I know I've said it before, but I'm a big fan of their sandals. Been wearing them for years. Maybe you've seen them on the Brine Bros or Grant Horvat, but take it from us, you will never want to take them off. Available in both men's and women's, waterproof leather and sporty styles, spikeless. Get a pair now at OluKai.com. So we, you guys know, or maybe you don't know, maybe if you've not been listening long, but I have been, when I go to play my league, it's a 9-hole league. I played a little course called St. Clair Shores on Thursday nights, and St. Clair Shores is not a long course by any means. It's very tight. It's packed into the freeway runs by one side, and the city of St. Clair Shores housing runs through the other. So it is kind of wedged into its own little spot there. But it's actually a nice course. It's always in good shape. They keep really good care of it. For as much play as it gets, it's surprisingly in very good shape every year. And it's got some holes that if you're not hitting it straight, you could definitely get in some trouble. It's got some water out there and all that. But it is a very walkable course. And ever since I started playing in my league, which I think I looked at, I think this is either my 10th or 12th year, or my 10th or 11th year. I don't know exactly, but it's right about that. I tried to look in our little software on there, and it goes to 2013, but I feel like I was playing before that. But anyway, I've been playing a long time in this league, and I've been walking ever since I've joined the league. The first year, I actually just carried my bag, and then the next year, I actually went and got a 3-wheel push cart, and I used that for absolutely years. And then 3 years ago, this would have been 4, so 4 years ago, I got the first, 3 years ago, I got the first Motocaddy, the M7. I got one of those and started using it, and it's an electric push cart. So, I guess electric push cart, electric cart, you don't really push it. And I tried one out. The guys from Motocaddy reached out, said, would you want to try one? I said, heck yeah, they look really cool. Got that, tried it, and it literally has not been with me on a Thursday other than one time. So, and that was only because the one time I left the remote at home, so I didn't have a way to control it, and I left it. So I took a cart and rode in an actual riding cart for that round. But every other round, I pretty much use my Motocaddy. I'm pretty much known around there for it. The few times that I've been there that I haven't used it, people have asked me where it is and why I'm not using it or whatever, so I'm kind of known as the guy. Now, I have seen there's another guy who has another Motocaddy. I think it's an M7. And then, or there's 2 guys. I've seen 2 guys out there. One of them's in a league, and I see him very regularly. And then another guy I just randomly saw, and I don't know if I've seen him too many times before that. So I've seen a couple out there. since I've got mine, but there's one guy who's out there all the time with his, and it's funny because the starters, the Rangers, all those guys kind of know who I am, and they all still love the thing. And I do say it does get a lot of looks, even just when you load your stuff from your car. You put your bag on there, you strap it down, and then you basically drive this cart over to like the putting green and start putting, and you're going to get a lot of looks, and people, you'll hear under their breath people going, is that remote controlled, or is that driving itself? And you get a lot of comments like that, and you'll get a few people who come up and ask you about it. So I had the standard M7 remote, which was basically, it's a battery-powered three-wheel cart that you strap your bag to, and it has a button on it that you could press to start it, and you can use without the remote. But the remote you can use to steer it, and the remote's a tiny little remote. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see. And it's kind of just like a little video game remote. It's got a forward, a backwards, a right and left, a stop, and a power button. And that's all it's got. So it's got 6 buttons. You basically hit the forward button to get it moving forward, and you steer it with the right and left buttons, and you can stop it with the middle one, and then to go backwards, you actually have to hold the backwards. If you hit backwards, it'll just kind of move a little bit. You got to hold it down as far as you want to go. So extremely simple to use. The remote's extremely simple. It charges up really quickly and really easily, and then because it's actually got a rechargeable battery in it, and it's got a little belt clip. You can clip it on your belt, and it's easy to use. Like half the time you don't even think about it. You're just walking and going. You don't have to point it at the machine or anything like that. You can have it, pretty much have it in your pocket and hit stop, and it'll do it. So had the original one. That was it was great. Like I said, it had it for, this would have been my 4th year with it. The battery life was really, really good. That one, I still like it. I think it's still a great machine. It worked great. And they just came out. But the one thing I always said on it was, I was like, man, I really wish it had like a GPS on it. That'd be really cool, because you drive up next to your ball, you stop it. And yeah, I mean, there's guys who use laser rangefinders, or you have like a GPS watch, or you do something else, and that's fine. But I'm like, it'd be nice just to be in the fairway and look down and say, oh, okay, I'm 150 yards out and whatever. So they just came out with the Motocaddy M7 GPS Remote electric caddy, and it's the exact same thing that it was, just the bigger screen near the handle that has GPS and other functions built into it. So first off, using the cart it's a whole lot of fun, because you just literally walk down the fairway. You can hold your beverage, walk down, just talk to people, whatever. And I know pushing a 3-wheel cart isn't that big of a deal, especially on a short, smaller course like this. There's no big hills or anything like that. It's not like you're putting your body under a lot of taxing, stress or anything like that. But when you can just walk, and you carry maybe your water bottle, maybe you're just walking, whatever, it does kind of, it's really fun. It makes walking a whole lot of fun. It makes me want to walk most of the rounds I play. And to be honest, it kind of does give you a little bit of that, like, better player, I've got a caddy. Like, it almost, sometimes makes you feel like PGA Tour-esque walking down the fairway without having to carry your bag or carry anything or push anything. It kind of does give you that feel in a way. And you can, walk there, grab your putter. You can, steer the cart away from, if you grab your putter out, you hit the green, you grab your putter out, and you can basically steer the cart over to the next tee box while you're walking up to the green and putt, finish out, putt, walk back over, and grab whatever club you're hitting off the tee and go. Like, you don't have to, put things, it can just be where you need it to be. But the walking part of it definitely makes me want to walk more, which, I mean, of course, is healthier if you're walking and all that. Now, there are courses that just are very difficult to walk. Like, if I was to go play Bella Vista, there's a lot of, like, wooden bridges and things like that I just wouldn't want to walk over, especially, like, after, like, a morning when it's kind of a little bit wet. Those things are just super slippery. But that's a much harder walking course. But courses that you definitely can walk, this just makes it so much more fun. You don't have to carry anything that you don't want to. It's super easy to control. It's extremely stable, is the other part. Like, as you drive this thing, a lot of people ask, like, oh, does it fall over, if you hit a bump or whatever. In 3 years, I had the thing tip over 3 times. 2 of them were my fault. One of them was I caught a fence post on the way out to my car. There's this, like, really narrow, opening in the fence to walk through, and I caught the wheel on there. It tipped it over, which was, definitely my fault. And then the other time, I actually was trying to drive it up on a tee box that had a really rutted out dirt area, and it was almost like a ramp built in, and the way the cart kind of flipped up in the air, and the way that this tee box just kind of beat up this section. I probably shouldn't have driven it there. If I would have went up a few feet, it was smoother and I could have been fine, but I took it up there, and it fell over there, and I'm trying to remember the third time, but I've only done it 3 times, and like I said, I know 2 of them were stuff I should have been more careful with, but the normal everyday stuff, it works fine. You can drive it on side hill lies up near the tee box or greens. You can bring it up pretty darn steep hills. It's got a rear little wheel that stops it from flipping backwards, and it does wheelies as it goes up the hill, and it does that with no problem. And it goes over bumpy areas and all that, and where you think it's going to fall over, it just keeps driving, and it just goes. But extremely stable. It's very hard to knock over unless you bring it on some pretty gnarly terrain, or you bring it out to where a fence post is or something like that. It stays upright, and it's pretty fast. I walk behind it at about a 5 or 6, depending on my day, and at 9, you'd have to run to chase it because it is moving fast. Even if you're worried, like I'm a fast walker, it will go right behind you. If you're really slow, walking, it'll slow down. The 2 and the 1, it is just crawling along. So it's got a ton of different speeds, 9 different speeds. It'll go as fast as you want. They say it'll go, I think, 50 yards away from you before stopping. It'll go a long way. Like, just to test it, I've ripped it, just let it rip down the fairway, just controlling it. It's gone at least 100 yards, and it was just going, and it was fine. And then you hit the stop button, it stops, and it's fine. When you park it on hills, it's got kind of an automatic brake in it. When you hit the stop button and it stops, it may just move a touch. You may see it kind of like the wheels just slowly turn before it locks, because I think the first time I was like, oh no, it's not stopping. And it just there's a little bit of turn of the wheels as I think it realizes, oh, it's supposed to lock itself, and then it stops. But it stays where you want it. It doesn't roll down the hill backwards or forwards. It stays where it's supposed to. And this new one here is really solid. It's actually a little bit more quiet, I feel like. The other one was pretty close to silent. This one, I feel like you can start rolling it while somebody else is hitting. You don't hear a thing when it starts up and starts going. Maybe the kind of the chatter of clubs would be the only thing someone would hear. But if the bag's not chattering, it literally is dead silent. So going down the fairway, all that, you don't have to worry about taking intervening with people or being loud or anything like that. But overall, super easy to use. The remote, it took no time to learn it. I was in my backyard. I kind of messed around with it, realized how to do it after reading the instructions. Super easy. And then this new one here, got it out of the box, exactly the same in terms of setup. Snap the wheels on, got the thing all set up, and then you fire it up, and the screen just comes up. You set it up real quickly for the GPS, and boom, you're done, and you are ready to roll. So you can also connect your phone to it, which I haven't done, just because you can basically, if you want, you can get your smartphone notifications and stuff on the screen, and I don't want that. I'd rather when I'm playing, I throw my phone in my bag and I keep it away. But if you wanted to, you could do notifications on your smartphone and have them come up as well. But the GPS screen is a nice addition. I think it really is. I wanted it when it first came out. Even if you still use a rangefinder or whatever like that, I think it's still nice to have those yardages. And the other thing too is you get different things like the hazards. You have not only do you have the green front, middle, back, and the middle one you can actually move around as a pin position. So if you have your tee sheet, pin position 3, whatever, you can actually put it there and move it around. The screen is very adaptive. You can do that, and then still have distances there, but you still have your front, middle, back. And then if you hit one simple button, it comes up with hazards. It'll show you, to the water, to carry the water, bunkers, whatever, any hazards on the hole, it'll show you that as well. The other part of it too is that with that thing, it's super easy. There's 40,000 courses already pre-programmed, loaded into the thing. So, when I started it up the first time, I took it out of my truck, plugged it in. You basically plug the battery in, it pops up, and there's 2 options. It's settings and play golf. And hit play golf. It took about 30 seconds for the satellite to connect. Basically brings up all the courses around you, which, St. Clair Shores, it's pretty much the only one there. You hit that, and it just takes you to hole 1, and it's boom, you're rolling. It took nothing to do. It's got some pretty cool stuff. It's got performance tracking, so you can basically measure how far your shots went. It'll keep score on there. It'll basically keep track of how many fairways hit, greens hit, putts, all that. So all those things are right on the screen. So if you want to use those, I don't typically keep track of that stuff, so I didn't. I mean, I messed with it, but I haven't, gone like full rounds with it or anything like that. But it's pretty nice to have if you want it. I love the hazard part though, of being able to know, how far it is to the creek or the water, trap, all that. Because I used to try to laser those things. You try to laser the other end of a pond or something like that. And it was never really super easy to do because you're trying to hit like a bank or a rock or something like that, and you don't really know how far that is away or whatever, how far it is beyond the water, all that. So having like that GPS thing is just is right there, and it's really easy to use. And then, having that GPS, the GPS seems pretty accurate from everything. I was, pulling up, because on par threes, we'll still shoot the flag just because we do, but I drive the thing right up next to the tee box, and from lasering it, I mean, it's within, a yard or two or so of everything that we scan. So GPS is pretty accurate. It moves on pretty quickly. But yeah, the screen's color as well, so it's full color. So you'll see, the green for the green, and then you'll see bunkers in kind of a tan color, and water's blue, and all that. And it works perfect in the sun, direct sunlight. I've played in a few nights where it's just super bright. You can see the screen with no problem. It even comes with a little glass screen protector that you put on. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought I messed that up totally when I was putting that on. I kind of like almost dropped it, and there was this kind of bubble down near the bottom, and I was so bummed that I kind of had this little bubble, and it thankfully went away overnight. I came back down, I looked at it, and you can't see it, the bubble's gone. So thankfully it kind of like set itself, because I was really bummed. I was like, it was just my own fault, but I did that. But it's got a dynamic green view, so you can drag and drop pins. Like I said, the screen is really responsive. It's easy to do. Your touches, it picks up on them really quickly. The menus are super easy to get through. You can go through and set it up if you want meters instead of yards or whatever, but all those settings, it's got a ton of them in there that you can set up. The traction on it is really good. The controls work really well. Like I said, the remote is super simple, and it works really, it's just easy to control. But overall, like, I like the new GPS on there. I like the new screen. I found that even with having my rangefinder on the cart, I'm still using the GPS on the screen almost more. Because if I'm in the fairway or whatever, I'm just going to look at it and say, okay, front of the green is this, middle of the green's that, whatever, and I'll just hit the shot. And then on par threes, I'll still laser it because, sometimes the cart can't come up as close. And then if there's some weird things or whatever, I still have my laser rangefinder, but I've been using the GPS more and more. And the one thing I like about GPS numbers is, while people say like, oh, it's not quite as accurate as just, lasering the pin, the problem I have is that, if I laser and it says, 147, well, I'm going to try to overanalyze 147 as opposed to just saying, well, the middle of the green is 140, so I'm just going to hit 9-iron, and then saying, oh, 147, but the wind's maybe helping a touch, it's blowing across the right to left. You start overanalyzing every single thing about the shot. And then, you don't hit the right club, or you don't hit it well, whatever. Whereas if I just say, oh, it's a 9-iron and a full 9-iron and just hit it, I come up usually with a much better result from that. But it's a really solid cart. They actually make, if you want, like the Motocaddy bags, they actually have two kind of a sole that's designed around the bottom of the Motocaddy cart. And it'll actually lock in there. It's called Easy Lock, and there's two little metal pins and the shape of it, and it locks in and the bag won't move. So at the bottom, you don't even need to strap it. It just locks in, and then you put the elastic strap around the top of the bag, and that's it. I've been using the Callaway Fairway 14 or Fairway Plus I used the previous version for a while. I just gave that away on my Instagram account, and then I'm using the brand new one out there, and they built them around push carts, and it's got what they call the Lowrider 2.0, which is kind of a plastic piece that goes around the top of the club, and the legs are set lower on the bag, and it fits perfect on the Motocaddy. And the nice thing, it's got right where that lowrider is, it's got some rubber pads, and it fits exactly where kind of the brackets for the bag on the Motocaddy are. It fits perfectly there. Once I put the elastic strap on the top and the bottom, it's there. It doesn't move. It doesn't rotate. It holds the bag in place. There's some bags out there, some smaller ones, some of the really, like my Vessel, the really small Vessel, that'll rotate a little bit on the cart as it bounces around. But the Callaway, the Fairway Plus, it stays right it stays rock solid. It's right there, and it's got adjustable straps, so those elastic straps are adjustable. You can make them bigger, smaller, depending on the bag you're carrying. But it was fun. I used to carry my huge staff bag, I had a big vessel staff bag, and carried it with no problem. The thing was super heavy. Now I've got a lighter, stand bag. It carries that no problem. The battery life is really, really good. I think they say 36 holes. I've never played 36. I've played 18 with it numerous times, and I don't think I think after 18 holes, I've maybe seen the battery block drop like one block. It had like 3 blocks on it. I think it dropped 1 after playing like 18. The new one, the battery thing's a little bit different, but yeah, I mean, battery life, I think you could easily get 36 out of it, unless it's some crazy hilly course. Maybe that would take some away from it, but for the most part, I think you're going to be able to get 36 with no problem. It's a big battery, and the thing goes with no problem. It's got a little USB plug over in the handle, so you can charge the remote. You can even probably charge your phone on it. It's got all that, but it's just got a ton of new features built into that screen that you can use that are just, as much as you think you don't care, like you kind of do. Like there's a timer for the round. Like there's a clock and timer. And I'll tell you what, like there's times like we played in the league and I've looked down there and been like, wow, this is a 2-hour 9-hole round. Like it shouldn't be, and we still have to play 18 or whatever. But the clock on there, the timer is kind of nice. But yeah, the GPS screen is really good, and being able to see the whole hole, being able to see just the green, just the hazards, being able to kind of switch those things out is really nice. And having it, especially if it's maybe a course you've never played, that you kind of don't know, where do I hit it, how far do I hit it, all that, you can basically plot all that out on the screen and see what shots you need to hit. And and it's pretty darn accurate. It's been pretty close. Like I said, I've kind of walked out to the fairway, lasered a flag from where we were, and there hasn't been anything that's been far out of whack or anything like that. And once the satellite hits, I mean, it goes. And the other thing too is like sometimes you with GPS, like you drive your cart out to your ball and you stop and you jump out and you grab your club, and the GPS is still calibrating. It really doesn't take that long. I mean, granted, we're moving slower than an actual riding cart, but once you pull up to the ball, I mean, if you give it just a few seconds, it's pretty much got its normal, whatever that's its final GPS, yardage is. It's set. Like it may count up or down just a little bit for a few seconds, and it's done. So by the time you put a glove on, whatever, it pretty much has the yardage for you. You don't have to worry about like waiting for it to catch up or anything like that. It's pretty dynamic, and it works pretty well without having to wait on it. But yeah, I mean, the wheels are kind of nicer. They look a little nice, but they got great traction. I mean, the actual function of it, moving around, all that, very similar to the current, or they still make it, but the remote, the M7 remote, but the GPS one just adds that bigger screen that just has a bunch of new features on it. So I've been a big fan. I really liked it. I'm excited to keep using it. It'll be out there with me tonight. It's just it makes rounds fun. It makes you want to walk, and yeah, it's been a really fun thing. So I'm glad they came out with the GPS version. Like I said, I thought of it when it first came out, and I was like, man, it'd be nice. Oh, the other interesting thing too. So we played in the rain last week, or 2 weeks ago. The first couple holes it rained, and this thing's built for the water. You're not supposed to drive it into the lake or anything like that, but it can get rained on, whatever. And right now, I think if you buy one, you get it like an accessory bundle worth like $100. So it's got like a phone mount, scorecard holder with a little, with a little whole golf balls and a couple tees and pencils and stuff, a drink holder and another drink holder, and then it also has an umbrella holder. And the umbrella holder, I'll tell you what, is super nice. And I know other push carts have this, or all that, but it basically locks in. You can it screws into the side of right near the handle. You put it up, and then Motocaddy has their own umbrella that goes with it, that they have a unique design. So you put the umbrella in there, it sticks up, it kind of covers a lot of the bag, it'll cover you can kind of stand there. I was putting my towel, my gloves up in the umbrella, but they've actually designed, it's got 2 clear panels that are kind of like a windshield. So when you're walking underneath it, you can actually see. You don't have to like duck down to look under the umbrella. You can see right through the clear panels on the Motocaddy umbrella and just walk down the fairway. But I tell you what, that thing it's kind of nice in the rain because you can just walk right underneath it. When you're standing there waiting for other people to hit, you're standing underneath the umbrella. It's keeping a decent amount of your bag dry. The bottom half starts to get wet. If you have a Motocaddy bag, they're waterproof, so you could do that. But even so, I mean, it keeps most of your stuff dry, and it's just kind of nice to have. So you know, kind of stay on there dry. Everybody else is holding their stuff or huddling under carts or whatever, and you're just standing there under your umbrella that's connected to the cart. You don't have to hold it or anything like that. You just walk with the cart and walk under the umbrella. So that part is pretty awesome. So if you're interested in electric carts, I mean, I think they're pretty cool. I'm a big fan. I've loved both M7s that I've had. But if you go to motocaddy.us, so motocaddy.us, you can check out all the different stuff they have. They make actually a lot of good stuff. I have one of their bags as well. It's a little older, but I have it. It's a really nice bag. It's waterproof material, all that. But they make bags that fit on the carts. They make, like I said, the umbrella that's got kind of a cool, clear panel. But they've got the carts there. So they've got the M7 with the GPS. They got the M7 Remote with no GPS. And then there's an M5 that doesn't have a remote. You would just basically, there's a little dial on the handle. It's on the M7s as well that you would press to start it rolling. And then you can change the speed with, rotating the dial. And the M5 just has that. It doesn't have a remote with it. But they've got a few different models, and it's pretty cool. So they've got a bunch of bags. But if you go to their site, you can kind of see everything, and everything works really, really well. Their ecosystem, they designed it really well to work together. So motocaddy.us, check them out. It's not a cheap thing. I will tell you that. The M7 GPS Remote, this new one is $18.99, so $1,900. So I know it's not cheap. The M7 Remote without the GPS is $15.49. So I know they're not cheap, but I tell you what, I mean, I had mine for 3 years. Battery life was still good. Everything about it was just, I mean, it worked as it should. I mean, it lasted 3 years with no problem, and I was using it every single week for at least 9 holes. So it's held up. They're built really well, and they're really really solid. So motocaddy.us, check out the new caddies there, and they did a nice job. But you have the new one with the GPS. But that's all I've got today. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend, safe weekend. Travel safe if you're going anywhere. And if you want, please like, subscribe, follow wherever you listen to the podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, or if you want to, just search Club Junkie. And if you want to follow me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod, that would be great. We did great Q&A on the main Golf WRX account this week, but we'll be back on the Club Junkie one next week. So hopefully you guys have a good week, and we'll talk to you next week.